Have you ever felt fear just entering the room? Have you ever been greeted with condemning or offensive words instead of a warm and polite welcome? Have you ever been called an offensive nickname? Have you ever been afraid to look into someone's eyes just in fear of provoking physical violence? That's the daily life of bullying victims. Even 160,000 students skip lessons a day in the USA because they're terrified of their surrounding environment. My name is Marija, and I experienced peer bullying in my childhood. I was bullied because of my looks. My outfits would also get offensive attention. The fact that I got better grades than my classmates drove them mad. What was happening then in my soul and mind, you may ask? I felt desperate, lacked confidence in myself and those around me. Some people assume that bullying in the early years of life does not affect its victims psychologically. But my experience shows that is not the case. Because of the bullying, my grades got lower, along with my self-esteem. The nightmare that I had to undergo led to depression. Thanks to my family help, I recovered. Looking back, I'm glad that I had enough courage to speak to my family and open up about the violence I experienced. However, according to the data from Education Department of the USA, only 46% of the bullying victims ask for help. The rest suffer silently. Thus, I invite you all to release that all-overwhelming fear, destroy the silence, because nobody must suffer from bullying. Bullying happens every day. At school, in the street, in social media. According to the BBC News, 1 out of 5 students claim that they have encountered bullying. There's a prevalent misconception that bullying may help a child to acquire appropriate social skills, that bullying strengthens one's character, a child becomes stronger, braver, and more resistant to hardships. However, the scientific data shows how absurd such observations are, because in reality, the victim has hardly any chance to resist, as 56% of the bullies can influence other peers to take their side. There's also a noticeable tendency that most frequently the victims of bullying are from a lower social background, the parents earn less money, which does not let them show off with brand new gadgets or brand label clothes. Nevertheless, every person has the right to feel safe, regardless of their or their parents' social status. Bullying is always a traumatizing experience, even though not all individuals suffer the same outcomes, because one psychological resistance differs from person to person. Some suffer more and take everything more painfully, while others do not. Have you had one case of suicide caused by bullying? Australian dolly Everett was always smiling, had a good sense of humor, always looked good. Still, she became the victim of cyberbullying. After years of bullying, being just 14, she took her own life. Can you imagine how such victim feels if they do not want to live anymore and see committing suicide as the only way out? So what is my observation? I think the first thing we need to do is emphasize with people who feel the need to bully. We would probably all agree that no person is born bad. Our development is greatly influenced by the environment. Research shows that people who bully others lacked warm relationship with their parents during childhood. They felt unloved and rejected. This is influenced by strict discipline in the family, threats, physical punishments, rules between parents witnessed from an early age, abuse of alcohol, or even drugs. A few years ago, I met a peer who used to bully me. I saw his parents yell at him in public. I think this example illustrates very well how excessive control has a negative impact on human development. After all, children who grow up in a safe and respectful environment can prevent a negative behavior in the future while raising their children. In our society, a positive attitude towards a person who is somehow different has not yet been sufficiently formed. Individuals who stand out have a unique appearance, unique worldview and reality system. Nowadays, people still lack tolerance through personalities that do not blend in. Some members of society do not accept the uniqueness of another individual, so they often insult, mock, humiliate, or even reject them. In this case, people feel like black sheep. They don't fit anywhere, they feel neglected. It's very difficult to come to terms with such experience. This often leads to mental health issues. So what are the solutions to the problem? A person from an early age must be educated about the idea that individuality is not a negative trait. On the contrary, it is a positive quality that helps to avoid uniformity in our society. Children spend a large part of their time in educational institutions, so educators must ensure the full-fledged development of a young person. Teach them to accept different people and respect human dignity. Social networks have a great influence on the psychological maturity of a young person. The display life through rose-tinted glasses often does not correspond to reality. But a young person is not able to identify what is real and what is distorted. People often do not realize that social networks are a business and not just a space for communication. The biggest evil is that young people often compare themselves with idealized personalities and strive to be like them. This does not encourage the aspiration to be different, distinctive, exclusive, and authentic. In other words, being oneself. So it can be said that being different often becomes a prerequisite for bullying. So let's dare ourselves to accept all people and not to be afraid to show our true personalities ourselves. How can I change to please others? This is the question that every victim of bullying asks themselves. I think that every young person needs to develop the ability to adapt, but not to forget who they really are. Love not only yourself, but try to maintain a friendly relationship with others. Maybe even try to find the key to the hearts of those peers who tend to bully. It won't always work, but kindness often works wonders. After all, it's very good to feel deep into one's heart that the past injury brought a lot of positive emotions, and we did not have to go to the consequences bullying may bring us. It's very important to trust yourself, your own strength, and know what you're worth. If you think that the other people are better, more beautiful, smarter than you are very wrong. Love yourself and be happy about what makes you different from others. What you can be proud of. Appreciate what you're best at. Because the next time you're called weird or ugly, you'll know that you're wrong. So look in the mirror and smile at yourself. A unique personality is looking back at you.